Hey friends, what's going on? Kevin here from the My Song Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel, and today we're going to be reviewing the 6th album from the famous California metalcore group. This is of Mice and Men and their album, Earth and Sky. Alrighty, so for those of you who do not know how these album reviews work or plumb forgot about it, let me give you a little bit of a rundown. First, I'll give you a little bit of a background on the band so we're all up to the same speed going into the review of Earth and Sky. Then I'll go through each song 1 through 11 in order and give you my thoughts on everything from the meaning, the instrumentation, melody, tempo, vocals, lyrics, all that stuff. So you're not going to miss out on that. Then I will give the album a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being beaten up by an infant and thrown into a wood chipper. 10 being, well, the opposite of that. And of course, I will give you my reasoning behind that, why I gave it that rating, so we're all on the same page and you understand why. So, let's go! Alrighty, so a little bit of a background on Of Mice and Men before we get started. Their 5th album, Defy, was released last year in 2018, and this was the first album that Aaron Pauley, their bassist and lead vocalist, was the full-on lead vocalist for the album. So it's very interesting, and especially they're coming out with a new album 1 year later. Another very interesting move. So Pauley came back and announced that they were doing this album and began working on it in October of 2018, which surprised a lot of fans. They released their first single on Valentine's Day 2019, and it was, they said, a lot harder and a lot heavier than anything they'd done previously on Defy. Now, I first listened to that song. It was called How to Survive. I actually had a buddy send me the link on Reddit to listen to it while I was in Daytona, Florida. I sat on a balcony and listened. I was like, oh, this is hard as shit. Yes! So I was happy about that. And they announced that the new album was coming out on July 26th. It was announced that it was going to come out on September 27th, 2 months later. So one thing with Mice and Men that I was kind of disappointed was earlier in 2019, I was supposed to see a show with them. They were going to open for Evanescence in Milwaukee. However, that was canceled due to an illness. Well, their set was canceled due to an illness in the band. I think it was of Aaron Pauley, which I was a little upset about. I'm still a little salty about, but again, I totally understand the move as they have canceled shows previously in 2019 for metalcore reasons. You can never be mad at them. I'm just like a little miffed because I wanted to see him live, but what are you going to do? Enough with that. Let's get on to Earth and Sky with song number 1. Coming in at song number 1, we have the song Grave Dance. And this song is about someone who is going through patterns of self-destructive behavior and is aware that they're doing it, but they're just kind of letting it happen. They're just hoping fate takes over. The song opens up with some weird kind of string instrument, like a Fiddler on the Roof kind of style instrument, which I thought, but it wasn't a fiddle, something else. It was interesting. I did like how it was different though, but it starts out the album on a weird note, like it was, going to be something more incredibly experimental. So it started out kind of weird. Following the intro though, the construction of a metalcore sound really just comes full on through, and it also has this lower tone guitar, so I'm like, okay, now this is what I was expecting, that hard metalcore sound from Of Mice and Men. The song is primarily focused on the unclean vocals, which I like the move on this one because it really goes into that harder feel. You're not going to get that classic metalcore construction, so it kind of breaks it up right at the beginning of the album. But the transition between the verses, the pre-chorus, and the chorus is rather choppy in my opinion. It's got this weird string again that comes in the middle of the chorus as well, but I thought it really fits in well here because it brings out a little bit more of a interesting feel to it and a little more of a unique feel to it. So overall, I'm really not a fan of this one, but the strings do give it a unique quality. So the overall song was not something I could really launch into the album with, but I thought, you know what? That string part, especially in the chorus, actually got my attention. At song number 2, we have the song As We Suffocate. And this song really goes into what Grave Dancer did with being aware of the self-destructive tendencies in your mind, but instead of letting fate decide, it's up to you to decide. So this kind of takes a different route on how to fix that. So the song opens song that gets full on that Saturn metalcore construction and flow, which we saw on the previous song as well. The verses are unclean, which really fits the anger and feel of the song where it's the self-destructive tendencies and you know what's happening. So you really get the anger behind it. But where this one really changes up is they go with cleaner vocals in the chorus and the pre-chorus overall to give a more feeling of hope that you can actually get through this. And I like the move on this one because it really does provide that, you've got this mentality. The transition between the phases of each song is much more fluid than the previous song. And I'm like, you know what? I like this. But overall, I do like how the song plays off of Grave Dancer, and it just meshes overall so much better. So between the two, yeah, As We Suffocate, it's going to take the cake. At song number 3, we have the 4th single released on September 5th, and this is the song Taste of Regret. This song is all about toxic relationships and how ridding yourself of that relationship and that toxicity is better than actually just holding on to it and hoping things get better than regretting it for the rest of your life. Now, the song starts out with this rapid-paced guitar and a lot of double kicks from the drums. I'm like, yeah, now we're getting to this full-on smoke show. Woohoo! The verses do keep that heat, though, with the instrumentation, and the unclean vocals here are expected. And the verses, you know, they're pretty standard metalcore up to this point. So I'm like, oh, like the start of it, but I'm like, now we're just getting standard. So we'll see what happens. The chorus comes in clean with the clear message of that toxicity, and I love the move on this one because it ensures that the message of the song is heard and that the hope of you getting rid of that toxicity of a relationship from your life really hits home. So I actually like it. The bridge features some really low screams from Aaron, which is a nice mix-up because, of course, you're going to be dealing with a lot of demons when it comes to trying to get rid of yourself from a toxic relationship. So it really fits into the move. And you really don't hear those normally when they go really, really low. Overall, though, I like this song, but it isn't super memorable that I think about it because there are many other metalcore sounds and songs that sound a lot like this. So it really doesn't have much of a discerning quality to it. At number 4, we have the 2nd single, which was released on May 3rd, called Mushroom Cloud. Whoa, I just did that for some reason. I don't know why. The song is all about the volatile nature of being on the edge in your own mind and how spending too much time in your own mind and being stuck inside it can really make you explode in a bad way. And the music video really sheds light on this as it shows them playing in a post-apocalyptic world. So, like, your mind already exploded, basically. So the vocals here are all unclean, and given the meaning of the song, I think this is the right move, given the fact that when you stick inside your head, it's those vocals, they're driving, they're impactful, and those unclean vocals really hit home and really give you a feel of it, especially if you've gone through something like that. You really can feel that, and I like the move on it. I do enjoy how the guitar has this, again, this grittier tone, but sometimes the siren-esque sound to it, I'm like, this is interesting. It really makes me feel like kind of like a nuclear post-apocalyptic kind of style, which I did like. I thought this really fits well with the song. The drumming is where the song shines because of the double kick. It really heightens the intensity. And with the unclean vocals and that interesting guitar sound, the double kick just ups it, and I do like it. Overall, I enjoy the concept of the song and how it was pulled off, just what they were going for. I'm not going to lie. Not one of my favorite of the singles. Just not really. Just wasn't something that I was, in love with. So coming number 5 with the song Pieces. The song is all about a feeling of depletion when you're running on absolutely nothing. Kind of think of it as like having no purpose in life, but then still going through the motions in life. So going to work every day to a job you hate, you're just like, I don't want to do this, but I gotta do this. So you're just kind of going through the motions. It starts out with this mixture between metalcore and hard rock instrumentation as the pace is there, but the instrumentation just doesn't hit as hard as I would expect for something that they were going for with that mix of metalcore and hard rock. The use of that metalcore standard vocal construction, I thought was actually worth it in the song. So, the unclean vocals in the verses, the clean vocals in the chorus, and then the unclean in the bridge. And I thought the mixture was done well, but the transition really, I thought I've seen some choppy ones. This one, not choppy at all. Actually enjoyed it. The bridge does provide us with a more clean vocals on this, which I thought, oh, this is a little bit different, which was the right move on this one, actually. And I thought it kind of just brought this more accepting Depletion into it. I'm like, oh, this is something I wasn't necessarily sure they were going to go with, but you know what? It's interesting. And the guitar solo, I thought it was run of the mill. So overall, don't think it's a bad song, but the one thing I don't like about it was like you had a chance to make it stand outish with the mixture of metalcore and hard rock style. Just doesn't stand out to me. Just doesn't. Coming in at number 6, we have the song Deceiver Deceived. And this song is a commentary from the band about being a band in the 2010s and what they have seen in life, characterizing it as like a decade of cognitive dissonance, the inconsistency of truth, mostly based on the politics in our culture right now. And yeah, there's a lot of things going on with that in the media, so we're not going to really touch on that with our opinions, but I'm just going to say that's what the band was going off of for that. Opens with this hard guitar riff, which really amps up the anger, which I thought, yeah, there's a lot of anger going on with that cognitive dissonance. Let's bring it. The vocals in the verse go clean, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting them to go unclean on this one to really amp up the anger. But I did like the move. It changed up the pace of the song to be a little bit slower than the rest of the album. So it does give it a little bit more of a notable quality. The chorus mixes the clean and unclean vocals on this one really well, as the clean vocals are very prevalent, but the unclean vocals bring it in with more of a complementary style, which actually, kind of gives that cognitive dissonance a little bit more of a, enjoyable, not necessarily enjoyable, but remarkable and noticeable idea. I do enjoy how the bridge ups the tempo of the song with a more classic guitar solo and the higher pitch in it. I'm like, you know what? Now this is getting more classic, a little bit more throwbackish. I do like the mixture. It is my favorite song on the album as it blends the cleaner vocals much more and that mixes that hard rock sort with the standard metalcore sound and the unclean vocals than Pieces does. You know, I mean, this is actually my favorite song. I really did like it. Coming number 7, we have the third single that came out on July 26th when the album was announced, and this was the titular track, so this is Earth and Sky. The song is all about understanding that you can rise above whatever is trying to keep you down and drag you down and master it. Now, this is all according to Aaron Pauley as well, so you know this is what the song is about. The song starts out with this higher pitched distortion guitar, and it's a little bit slower than what we've seen in the past, especially from the other singles. And I thought, you know what, it really does work with the intro as it really, you know, actually meshes well with the double kick of the drums. I thought, yeah, let's do this. The unclean vocals, they do have a very standard metalcore construction there, but the vocals from Pauly do have this emotional intensity in it. Like, this is something that he has gone through beforehand, and it's something that we've all gone through beforehand, so it really does work out as well. The clear vocals in the chorus do give a feel of victory that is won. I'm like, you know what? I do like that. It kind of gives that whole entire process of rising above whatever is keeping you down. The bridge on the song is incredibly ominous and mysterious. I thought, whoa. This is interesting. Definitely experimental at this point, and I really did like it as it breaks up the song and really then goes into this, again, this full-on metalcore smoke show that I really did like. Overall, it's my favorite single on the album, only second in my favorite song to the previous song, and I thought, you know what? I'm enjoying this. This is one that's going to stand out to me the most, probably, is actually this titular song, Earth and Sky, so I thought, yeah! At song number 8, we have the song, The Mountain. No, not 3 Days Grace, The Mountain, just The Mountain. This song is all about a commentary on social media and how we put out this perceived and edited and highlighted version of ourselves on social media, and we really never have our true selves. And the mountain is a metaphor for what we aspire to be, that perfect self, and always look at other people as perfect. Man, shout out to Gary Vee on this one, because he preaches about this a lot, and I love it. So I love the fact that Of Mice and Men is commenting on this. The intro brings in with something that reminds me of like Greatness or Death by Beartooth, where it's deceiving with the cleaner vocals and a slower tempo, but then just goes into that metalcore sound. I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is good. The verses, they do have a certain drive to them as well, and it really works as well. And it mixes the clean vocals in the beginning, the unclean vocals at the end. That just actually wasn't the best move in my opinion. It just didn't mix very well. I would much rather have them be all clean because I thought it would have made the song a little bit more powerful, but then again, that's my opinion. The chorus doesn't change up the instrumentation, but shows a higher pitched vocal range from Aaron Pauley, which is very interesting, but I thought it was the right move on this one because it just kept the vocals as the prime point of the song, and it really did show them off really well. Actually liked it. The bridge is classic metalcore though, with the unclean vocals. I'm like, yeah, here we go. Overall, the song is propped by the chorus though. Not gonna lie, the chorus is the key point of the song with that higher pitched vocals from Aaron Pauley. But the song was not one that I remembered after a couple listens through. I thought, oh, this was here? Didn't remember it. At number 9, we have the song Meltdown. This song is about how a personal meltdown inside your mind, maybe every once in a while, every once in a month, can actually be good for your health, just kind of just to reset yourself. I thought, oh, that's an interesting take on it, so we'll see what happens. I do like the intro on this one because it has this feeling of like if Shinedown went metalcore, so I thought, that's a pretty interesting idea, experimentation-wise. Let's see what they do with it. The vocals in the verses also follow suit again if Shinedown went full-on metalcore. So it had the same pace to it as well. I thought, you know what? Keep it up. Just keep leaning right on into it. The clean chorus also works here very well, but I was hoping for like some unclean screams at the end just to really amp it up and give it a little bit more diversity instead of that classic metalcore construction, but I might just be just being a little too picky about it. The bridge provides another Shinedown and actually Beartooth approach to it, which I do like, given the fact they were going more that Shinedown metalcore fusion style throughout the whole entire song. So overall, I did like the idea that they, fused together, and I really want to see this one play live. I think this might be the best one from the album that they'll play live. At number 10, count it 10, we have the song Linger, and this song is an ode to the people in the lives of the band that they have lost over the past year or so, and it's going to reflect on it, kind of in a good light, and just think about the people they lost and how they've affected them. The intro is the pure guitar, and it gives you this heavy metal vibe and continues to provide that throughout the rest of the song. So the guitar on this one was one thing I really liked. The focus was heavier on the cleaner vocals throughout most of the song, and it kind of shows their thoughts on kind of those people that they've lost and what they really think of them, and that they're not angry about it, more just like feeling for them and just missing that feeling that they brought to them. The bridge mixes the clean, unclean vocals to kind of show that anger and that acceptance of losing people, so kind of going through the stages of grief. Overall, you know, I do like the concept, as a lot of bands have done this previously. Like I mentioned on my previous one, Hell Yeah did something like this. But this one isn't as memorable as some other bands that have really gone through and done something like this when you're remembering people that you've lost in the past. Not nearly as memorable as what Disturbed did. All right, we're at the end. It's number 11. This was actually the first single on the album, which came out on February 14th, which is How to Survive. This song is an anthem for those who have been on the receiving end of unmerited and target hatred and abuse. So it's basically against the people that have been bullied on, picked on, put down. And this is coming straight from Aaron Pauli as well. So again, we know it's true. The song opens with this weird techno-style intro, which I thought is interesting. How it breaks in this, again, full-on metalcore smoke show. Once the intro really hits, I'm like, yeah, this is hard. I'm liking this. The vocals stay unclean throughout the whole entire song, and I really like the move again because it provides that powerful feeling, and it just does not stick with that standard metalcore construction. I'm like, yeah, this was really worked well fit, because if you've been put down and bullied, you're having that inner voice be angry, and it's really the voice of that inner voice. It's just a representation of it in the song How to Survive. The guitar from Phil Manasala is really well done here, as it keeps the song less polished throughout the instrumentation, which is the right move on this one because it keeps it more inside and more angry overall. I did enjoy the song in the initial release, and deeper diving into it makes sense why they went with some of the things they went with, but it doesn't necessarily make sense in the last track. However, does it? I don't think it does, but I think I like it because of how just straight up metalcore they went throughout the whole entire thing, so you're going to end it on that kind of a note. Alright, time to give my overall rating on Earth and Sky by Of Mice and Men. So the rating is... I'm going to give Earth and Sky a 6 out of 10. So, Earth and Sky, 6 out of 10, a little bit better than average. So, why am I giving it a 6 out of 10? Let me tell you what I like from it. I do like the singles on this one, as it set up the album for some really good stuff, with How to Survive and Mushroom Cloud just being that metalcore classic smoke show, just going hard throughout the whole entire thing, and Earth and Sky just being a great tune with that metalcore construction, just classic. Actually really liked it. And I do like the openness of the meanings in some of the songs, because the band really went and deep dove into some things that a lot of bands had been diving into or touching base on, but they went it in a little bit of an interesting, more interesting approach. Why did I say interesting more? That makes no sense, but whatever, we're going to roll with the punches anyway. But they really touched it on an interesting issue. Taking a look at the first two songs where you're going through, just being lost inside your head, and one song talking about, not doing anything about it and what happens when you don't do anything about it, and another following that's like, okay, now this is what happens when you do something about it. They really went deep in on that, and I really liked how they played that off. It really did work well. The biggest reason why I'm like, this album is, it's better than average, but it's just that, is because nothing really stood out to me on this album outside of really like Earth and Sky and my favorite song, Deceiver Deceived. It just didn't really stand out to me outside of that. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I don't think it was as big of a letdown for me as much as Wage War's Pressure was, given the fact that the singles gave it such a high priority and such a high feel, and kind of just let me down in the end. This one didn't let me down as much, but the singles weren't necessarily as good in my opinion. So I'm like, oh, it just was that. But the songs, none of them really stood out to me, such as like other metalcore songs have in the past, such as like The Signal Fire by Killswitch Engage. That one stood out to me. Or Blinded by As I Lay Dying. Plus, this album came out a week after As I Lay Dying, Shaped by Fire did, and that one set the bar so high, especially coming to this one. This one might have a little bit of a bias towards it, just coming off after As I Lay Dying, but in the end, I just didn't think it had that, what's the word, just unique or standoutish quality. Overall, I think it's a good metalcore album. I think it's serviceable, but it does have some letdown qualities, as nothing really stands out to me overall with it, and I wish it would have, but that's just my opinion, and that's what I'm going to say about it. It's a good album, but it just doesn't stand out. Alright guys, that's it for me. Thank you for watching the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day YouTube video album review of Earth and Sky by Mice and Men. If you like it, give me the like, but if you dislike it, give me the dislike. No matter what, if you like or dislike, put in the reasons why you like the album, like the review, dislike the album, dislike the review, so we can talk about it because I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Also, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to us. So there it is. Not the big one. Get that one out of here. Hit the little one in the corner because that one actually is going to subscribe you, and the bell icon because you can get notified when we release videos every single Wednesday and Monday, but that might change up soon, so stay tuned for that. Also, follow us on social media to keep in touch with all of us. So follow us on Facebook. Anytime we release anything, Facebook will let you know. Follow us on Twitter. Anytime you want to talk music with us, Twitter's a way to do it. Instagram, you want to talk music with us? Yeah, comment on some of our Instagram stuff. Come to our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night. We'll just have a face-to-face Q&A. Watch our IGTV videos to keep in the know with everything that we're doing, and follow us for Small Band Saturday, where we will feature smaller bands that you can easily get in the know with and get in on before they get big. You'll hear a preview of their song as well, which is pretty cool. Also, follow us on TikTok because we're going to start doing some fun stuff on TikTok. So yeah, links, description below. Get them out of here. Let's talk about the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song Day Rock 2000 Day. It's our very own podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and here on YouTube. What we do on that one is we do deep dives into these albums, deep dives into the news and music that's going on, deep dives into the concerts that we've gone to, and we interview people like yourself watching if you want to talk about them, want to talk about your experience in music. Also, smaller bands such as Ascending from Ashes, Kingdom Collapse, and Gold Frankincense and Myrrh, aka GFM. We've talked to them, and you can get in on them early and figure out exactly what they're doing. So, listen to the Chord Progression Podcast. It will be your go-to rock music podcast every single week. Also, lastly, if you're not subscribed to our Amazon Alexa skill, please do that because you get to listen to every single song of the day choice. And you get to listen to it in its entirety for 24 hours as much as you want. And this word for that Small Band Saturday, you get to hear the whole entire thing. It's a great way to get up during the day, go to bed, whatever you want to do, listen to it, and learn about new bands, fall in love with old bands, whatever you want to do with it. It's there for you, and I really want you to add it to your skill set. So, link in the description below to add that, and I want to say thank you for watching the video and following all our stuff. It really means a lot to me, and I can't express enough thank you for being part of the best rock community here on the internet. That's it for me. This is Kevin. I am Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day YouTube channel. Let's see if I can get the hat flip. Still missed, but see ya!